Yeah, hi, this is Tom Mayers, and I have Land's End Marina, and I have a few things. We have a real bad red tide around here. Not really bad, but it's bad enough to make it unpleasant. So I just wanted to do a video on this boat and the little 14-foot, 6-inch fishing skiff that was designed by Clark Mills, and he made a mold for it. And so when I saw it, I thought, well, that's a cute little boat. And he said he built it because everybody kept asking him for a good wide boat. And he had a very pleasant way of talking about things. And he said, this is just a boat for people to knock around the bay, to throw the cast net, go gigging. If anybody knows what gigging is, it's sort of an esoteric sport that we used to all do up and down the coast here. And so what this boat does is, in a 14-foot, 6-inch boat, it's 6 feet 6 inches wide. And so it's got a fairly flat bottom with a V, a modified V, but, you know, mostly I guess you would describe it as a flat bottom skiff. So I have this mold for sale, and I have the design rights from Clark Mills. I'm trying to find somebody interested in doing some of these projects I've been working on. We've probably built about 30 of them here over the years, and you know, it's just any variety of interiors. You know, we've had, these are bench seats. That's a big box called a lifetime box, and it's really more for deck storage. But we're really use that just to put life preservers in, your anchor, yeah, anything, you know, your personal effects. And it's not made for rugged use, it's just tied in there. But we live in an area where they've taken the bay here, and it's all a no wake zone. So yeah, this boat will go about 20 miles an hour with a 25, or could be 25 miles an hour with a 25, but it's a flat bottom, so it runs almost like a little hydroplane. But because we have a no wake zone here, you know, that goes for a long way, for almost half a mile around this pass, that it's not a big issue. And for what we use it for, just knocking around, that lifetime box is an experiment, but it's a good large box that you can fit stuff in. And you can see the way the boat is up on the rollers here, and this is the way we used to do it. Used to use the green marine treated pilings for rollers, and you just tie the bow eye to a truck or a car and put the rollers underneath the boat and just roll it up, and as it rolls off of one, you try to put the other one on it without having to struggle too much. So it's a two-man process. It could be a one-man process, but we've done it for years. We use 6-inch PVC heavy-duty pilings like you would use for plumbing, but 6-inch heavy-duty PVC works fine. We put it on these so that we could paint the bottom. So we should be able to scrape it, paint it easily, you know, with the boat like this. But anyway, this boat design is for sale. It's by Clark Mills. We've had a lot of use of it. We've had everything from a 4 horsepower on it, 5 horsepower, to a 100 horsepower. I actually had 100 horsepower. It may have been on this boat, but I had a console on it at one time. So anyway, I was calling people today for Christmas, and I thought of a friend of mine reminded me that Charlie Morgan had been getting treatments for cancer. He's had some cancer problems. He had his 93rd birthday, and congratulations, Charlie, for your 93rd birthday. And so I called him up and talked to him and just reminded me of the old days. And I met him early on because I used to sell Windex, and we did some boat building and masts and, you know, just other issues that were boat building issues, sailboat issues. And I sailed on his Morgan 27, which was a really breakthrough boat in its day. And they were really had a nice shape and were not extreme at all, had a fancy modernistic looking deck. And so anyway, I sailed on that, one called Red Baron, and we used to have Morgan 27 championships. You know, we would race all over here, Tampa Bay, St. Pete, Sarasota, and I sailed on Red Baron with the Jack Taylor and his family, and it was a nice little boat, and it was fun. And then I sailed on a Morgan Out Island 41 as a boat captain. Hirsch Yachts in Sarasota had them, and I worked for Hirsch for a while, and they would just load people on the boat, and you would take them out, and some days it'd be blowing 30, and you'd have no crew, you were just the captain, and they'd have like 20 people from Dayton, Ohio that worked for IBM that were here. And so anyway, Charlie designed a variety of boats. And the Morgan 41, I used to call it a bumper boat because it looked like it had a strange design, but a very comfortable boat. And Charlie told me one time, he said, we designed that to be a coastal cruiser, and that he had gotten postcards and letters from people who were cruising it all over the world. And he got one from Fiji. So somebody had taken a Morgan Out Island 41 to Fiji. In about let's say 76, something like that. I'm not sure exactly when. I went down to Mexico on a Morgan Out Island 51 that a friend of mine was captain of, and he needed crew and said he'd pay our way. So that was always the, defining factor. You know, are you going to pay the plane trip, or you can play for hotel rooms? So anyway, we had a nice time, and it was just some of the experience. And he designed and built a lot of boats. He introduced a lot of people to sailing. He and Ted Irwin were probably the most well-known designers and builders in the Clearwater, St. Pete area. And Jack Corey worked for Charlie Morgan. And anyway, they did the Heritage Project and built a wooden America's Cup boat. And so he's an interesting character, and he turned 93 today, so congratulations. And so we're back to this boat now. So Charlie Morgan was a great guy and fun to know, and I'm happy with the sailing and knowing people like Jack Corey. I don't know that I ever sailed with Jack, but I did some work with him over the years. And then I guess I should mention Craig Walters and Ron Holland. They all worked for Charlie Morgan or with Charlie Morgan at Morgan Yachts. So anyway, back to the red tides, not too bad. It's always worse. There's the buzzards up there. You see them flying around. And literally we had about 100 buzzards here earlier today. But you can see that they just are all over. They're in the trees. But so this boat and mold design is Clark Mills design. And it's 14 feet 6 inches, a good flat boat. And I have a mold for it, and the mold is sort of old and beat up, but you could build boats out of that mold, or you could use it to make a plug and then make new boats out of a new mold. So anyway, this is it, and this is Tom Mayers. It's a pretty day today, but a little stinky. And we just have to share Land's End with the buzzards sometimes. You know, that's just the way it is. That's life. So I hope everybody has a nice Christmas this Christmas. If you're interested in this boat, please contact me at Land's End Marina. And my address is landsendmarina@mac.com. And we had a lot of fun with this boat, and with 100 horsepower on it, you can believe it used to be a rocket ship. I would guess it went 50 with that boat motor on it, but 25 is more of a suit for it, and I like Yamaha 4-strokes, and I'm pretty sure that Honda and Suzuki are good, and you know, other than that, I don't know. Mercury, I've had a bad experience one time with them, but, you know, it could have been just luck of the draw, you know. And it wasn't a 4-stroke. It was not a 4-stroke. But I'm all 4-stroked out. I like them. And here's the boat, the Lifetime boxes, which I can recommend. They're made for deck boxes. But there you go, Lifetime. So this is an ad. If they want to send me money or send me a free box, go ahead. I'm all for it. And we're just going to clean this boat up, touch up the paint, put it back in the water. It lives in the water. And we had a marina here, and all of our boats lived in the water. And here's a 54-footer that's for sale. And I built it. It's a Clark Mills design, and I guess you could say I was a Clark Mills fan. Could even say I was a Clark Mills fanatic. But here's the Clark Mills design. I just love the shape of his boats. This one's made as a motor sailor to go in 3 feet of water. So it's got a dagger board, and it's 3 feet. So all of this stuff is for sale. I'm trying to, I'm 71 years old now, and I have a little bit of hard time with balance because I have bad knees. And I'm just trying to find a good home for some of these boats. You know, I'd love to finish this myself. I may end up doing that, but this one is for sale for $500,000, $500,000. All epoxy, and it's a really good boat. And you know, my problem is old age tends to catch up with you. And that little boat is not for sale, but the mold is for sale and the design rights. And I've had a couple of people look at it, and I don't think they get it. You know, you could spend you know, $100,000 making a mold for a new fishing skiff, and it could be not as good as this one. So this one has a lot of use. It's been a great boat. We're at Land's End. It's a pretty nice place to be. Just have to deal with the red tide a couple of times a year. All right, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.